Back in Las Vegas, Sal Marciano with Al Bernstein, and coming up, a couple of big bangers, heavyweights Jeff Shelburg and Leroy Caldwell. Let's get the official introductions from Chuck Hall.
Ladies and gentlemen, the officials assigned for the next bout of the evening by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. The judges are Chuck Minker, Larry Clark, and Dwayne Ford. The timekeeper is Jane Broadfoot. Counting at the knockdowns, Al Bisick, and the referee is Carlos Padilla. This is the feature attraction of the evening. 10 rounds of boxing in the heavyweight division. Introducing, in the blue corner, fighting out of Salt Lake City, Utah, weighing 207 1/2 pounds, here is Jeff Shelburg. And in the red corner, from Las Vegas, Nevada, weighing in at 202 1/2 pounds, here is the very popular Leroy Caldwell.
You're going to box for 10 rounds. You know the rules of boxing. Avoid using any kinds of foul. Don't throw any punches during the break, okay? Seconds come out fighting. Don't put too much grease on your boxers.
Referee Carlos Padilla with the instructions for both of these heavyweights. Here in Nevada, it's the 10-point must system. No one expects this to go the full 10 rounds. The 3 knockdown rule is in effect. That's Shelburg in the black, Caldwell in the white.
And Leroy Caldwell is 34, but didn't fight like it last month on ESPN when he won a 10-rounder against Davey Johnson. He's a very clever fighter, and he's got Jeff Shelburg, who is going to be aggressive in this fight, already is paying for that aggression by eating left jabs. Expect Leroy Caldwell to keep that jab in his face and mix things up by going to the body.
Shelburg in the black, the shorter of the two, weighing 207 1/2 pounds, working on a 3-fight win streak. He is 22-3 with 19 knockouts. Leroy Caldwell in the white trunks with a record of 24, 23, and 6, weighed in today at 202 1/2.
And Caldwell is much better than that record would indicate, as we saw last month when he beat Johnson. He's a tough heavyweight. He's very clever, and Shelburg is going to have to work his way inside so he can use that big right hand.
So far, Caldwell is using his jab effectively. He just scored with the lead right. And there's no question that Caldwell's strategy is to keep that firepower of Shelburg at bay with the jab.
And Caldwell's showing us a lot of movement, and that's no hoax. He can move around that ring, and he did it for 10 rounds against Dave Johnson. So he's a fighter who can stay on the move for 10 rounds, even at the age of 34. We saw it a month ago.
So the imposing figure, Leroy Caldwell, a puzzle for Jeff Shelburg, who just took a left-right combination from Leroy in the white. Caldwell again with the left-right combination. Caldwell shooting the jab, moving here in the opening round, and so far Shelburg has only managed singular punches.
And Caldwell's on the ropes, was just on the ropes in that last exchange, but Shelburg couldn't figure out how to hit him. Good right hand by Caldwell.
And he set it up with a left hook. Caldwell again with the left-right combination. And it's all Leroy Caldwell here in the first round.
I'll tell you, Caldwell is not a big banger. He's not a great puncher, but he puts punches together. We saw it last month, and we're seeing it again in this first round against Shelburg.
Caldwell continues to dig the jab. We noticed that Shelburg's eyes are red already, a little puffy, no cuts. He takes a right-hand lead from Caldwell. Caldwell using all of this 20-foot ring here in the Hacienda Hotel to his best advantage as he continues to move away from Shelburg's very heavy right hand.
And Jeff Shelburg is just eating those jabs as he walks in. He's not bending at the waist, as we've seen him not do in the past. He's got to bend at the waist and bob and weave and show some head movement, or else he'll get peppered all night.
Very effective 3 minutes of work by Leroy Caldwell in the white trunks, as he definitely outboxed Jeff Shelburg. And Shelburg's task here is to try and get close enough to Caldwell to do some damage. Here's some action from that opening round.
And here we see Leroy Caldwell with some good counter-punching, good left jab, and he follows with a straight right hand, and Shelburg covers up.
We have more professional football from Canada in store for you on ESPN this Sunday, July 26th, live at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, 10:30 p.m. Pacific time. We're going to take a look at Edmonton at Montreal, the Eskimos and the Alouettes on ESPN.
We get to find out if Vince Ferragamo can get his act together in Canada. And right now, Leroy Caldwell definitely has his act together. And there's Jeff Shelburg with his trainer, Angelo Curley. And now we see Caldwell. And right now, Jeff Shelburg's got a little bit of a problem. But we should remind everyone that he can turn things around in a moment with that right hand.
Jeff Shelburg in the black, Leroy Caldwell in the white. In boxing circles, they have heard about the power of Shelburg's right hand.
Combination by Caldwell, and I'll tell you, Caldwell slaps with his right hand, so it's not a real powerful punch, but it lands, and already we've seen some redness around the eyes of Shelburg. Last year we were here and we saw him fight Marvin Stinson, and Stinson just about closed both his eyes.
That night, Shelburg fought valiantly, although he lost a disputed decision. He just took the left-right combination from Caldwell again. Leroy is doing it all here against Jeff Shelburg. Two very popular heavyweights in this sector of the country. Caldwell from Las Vegas and Shelburg from Salt Lake City.
And so far, this fight is a mirror image of that fight we did last year where he fought Stinson. Caldwell is peppering him with the jab, and Shelburg is looking to land that big bomb. And in that last fight against Stinson, he did land the bomb in about the 5th round, and he knocked Stinson down.
Shelburg in this round trying to cut the ring off more effectively against Caldwell. And the intrigue here is that Caldwell can continue to move away from Shelburg's power and still score at the same time. Shelburg just took a left-right combination that staggered him, but he continues to move forward.
Leroy Caldwell is just very crisp with his counter-punching. He's just peppering Shelburg, and Shelburg's giving him no head movement as he comes in at all, so he's making it easy for Caldwell.
Shelburg took up boxing rather young in his teenage years because of the stories told by his grandfather. His grandfather's Clyde Hawkins. He was a middleweight who had a record of 33-1. He fought out of Salt Lake City. Tremendous record, but he got TB, tuberculosis, and he couldn't fight anymore. And now Jeff, his grandson, is continuing on in the family tradition of boxing. And here in the second round, he is trying to get close enough to Caldwell to slam him with that heavy right hand.
Leroy Caldwell is a ring-wise veteran, and he gets against the ropes, covers up, and then after Shelburg throws a few punches, Caldwell opens up with his own burst. And most often he's catching Shelburg as he's coming in.
So far, Caldwell has been able to parry that big right hand of Jeff Shelburg. Shelburg doesn't have any lateral movement. There he takes a right hand from Caldwell, another right hand from Caldwell, and yet another right hand from Caldwell. Leroy is just pounding Jeff Shelburg because Jeff is there to be hit.
Shelburg's walking right in, standing upright with his hands down. He's an easy target.
Leroy Caldwell laughs at a right hand after the bell. Jeff says, "I'm sorry, we'll be back for the third round." In the previous round, the second, Leroy Caldwell in the white trunks continued to slam Jeff Shelburg with right hands. Jeff is really taking too many rights in this fight.
Absolutely. Those lead rights are landing every time Caldwell throws them. And at the beginning, they were slaps. Now they're good, authoritative, straight punches.
Round 3 scheduled for 10. And we'll see if Caldwell can continue to move on Shelburg. Remember, as this fight gets older, it might be more difficult for Leroy to be on that bicycle.
Absolutely, and as we have to say that if Shelburg does get one of those good right hands in, he could turn things around. But Caldwell's been in with some pretty good punchers. In his early days, he faced Ernie Shavers and Ron Lyle and George Foreman, and he went the distance with both Lyle and Shavers, so that was a pretty good trick.
An intriguing heavyweight battle here in Las Vegas. Jeff Shelburg in the black against Leroy Caldwell in the white. And notice now that Leroy is a lot more flat-footed here in the third round. Shelburg is a one-way fighter, comes straight at you, no head movement, no bobbing and weaving, and he's always trying to load up the right. Both Al and I gave the first 2 rounds to Caldwell, who is now more of a stationary target for Jeff Shelburg.
Yes, he is, but he's still landing that jab effectively, and as long as he can do that, Jeff Shelburg's going to have a problem, and it opens up the question of cuts or swelling eyes, which we've already seen evidence of in this fight.
Two fast-paced rounds for Leroy Caldwell, and here in the third, he has slowed up considerably. Shelburg working the body. That overhand right was off the neck of Caldwell, and this is Shelburg at his best, fighting inside, and I'm not so sure that this is a good strategy for Caldwell, who looked so good in the first 2 rounds.
Well, now he's starting to show us some more movement, and I'll tell you, the left eye of Shelburg looks to me like it is starting to close, and I think a couple more rounds of these jabs and lead right hands landing, and that eye's going to be completely closed.
Every time Shelburg starts to load up, Caldwell goes into the peekaboo cover-up, and he is blocking those right hands.
Yeah, he's doing a very effective job inside of smothering what Shelburg is trying to do.
Well, all Shelburg has to keep doing is work the body and hope that Caldwell has a stamina problem.
Absolutely, and he showed us no stamina problems last month when he went 10 good rounds against Johnson, but perhaps this will be a different case.
We're having some picture problems along the line, and we're working on it, and we're sure to have a perfect picture for you in just a little while. Meanwhile, the picture of this fight is that Leroy Caldwell is managing to score on Jeff Shelburg, and we're in the late portion of the third round.
And you have to be impressed with the battle plan that Leroy Caldwell came in with. He has counterpunched well, and he's used his jab effectively to keep Shelburg off.
That'll take care of another round in this heavyweight battle scheduled for 10. Nobody expects it to go all the way. Back in Las Vegas, Sal Marciano with Al Bernstein at ringside, and these two heavyweights, Jeff Shelburg and Leroy Caldwell, are giving us a terrific show here tonight. Leroy Caldwell slowed down in the third, but he has been outboxing Shelburg over the first 3 rounds. Round 4 scheduled for 10. No cuts, neither fighter's been down.
And it's an interesting contrast to styles, and so far the boxer-puncher is prevailing over the slugger. And we'll see if that continues over this 10-round fight.
Shelburg tried to start a flurry with a left hook, but Caldwell wisely moved back onto the ropes and avoided the shot. Now Leroy is definitely flat-footed. He's no longer circling around Shelburg. And frankly speaking, we have seen Jeff several times. He can't get out. Caldwell continues to pepper Shelburg with right hand.
And Leroy Caldwell, I think, is just amazed at how easily he can hit Shelburg. I think that's surprising him to a certain extent. I don't think he's hurt Shelburg, but I'll tell you, again, that left eye is starting to look swelled up. And as we go on here, I have no doubt that that's going to close.
We've given Caldwell the first 3 rounds, 10-9, for a total of 30-27.
Jeff Shelburg has the same problem I felt he had last year when I saw him. He just takes too many punches. He just has no head movement. He does not bend at the waist, which you have to do if you're an aggressive come-forward kind of fighter.
A right-hand counter move by Caldwell caught Jeff Shelburg on the left side of his face as we come to the halfway mark of round 4. Al, you can see the frustration on Shelburg's face. He cannot solve this puzzle. He can't get off against Caldwell.
He just doesn't know how to get inside and do some damage. And I'll tell you, in addition, Leroy Caldwell inside has been stronger. He's been able to manhandle Shelburg a little bit. Again, good combinations by Caldwell. And he gets a warning from Padillo. For what, I'm not sure.
Looked like elbowing. He doesn't need that. He's doing okay with his left and his right. 1 minute to go here in the 4th round. Leroy Caldwell in the white trunks, so far outboxing Jeff Shelburg. Shelburg with 2 rights, digs the left to the body. Caldwell working the body, comes up with a left hook against Shelburg. And Shelburg's left eye is swelling now. It's not closed, but it is certainly swollen.
And Leroy Caldwell's only danger, I think, is to punch himself out. Well, there's also that right hand, which is always a danger, but a key problem could be punching himself out. But he showed no evidence last month against Johnson of doing that, and we'll just have to wait and see.
About 15 seconds to go in the fourth round. Lead right by Caldwell. Caldwell continues to poke away with the jab. So far, Leroy Caldwell is doing an impeccable job against Jeff Shelburg. Shelburg unloaded with the right hand that caught Caldwell high in the head. No damage. Now we're through 4 rounds. We'll be back with the 5th after this. In the previous round, the 4th, we're behind Leroy Caldwell in the corner as he scored against Jeff Shelburg, and Carlos Padilla, the referee, warned him about using his elbow. We're ready for round 5. It has been all Leroy Caldwell so far. Scheduled for 10. Neither fighter cut, but Shelburg's left eye is swollen.
And at the age of 34, in his last 3 or 4 fights, Caldwell has looked very good. He's a late bloomer, apparently, and I'll tell you, at this point in his career, he is quite a ring general. I think everyone would agree with that.
Shelburg in the black has a challenge here. This fight cannot go on like this, otherwise he'll be shut out. He has got to get off more quickly, and he has got to somehow get past the defense of Caldwell with that big right hand. And we've got Leroy winning the first 4 rounds 10-9 for a 4-point lead, 40-36. Of course, our view unofficial.
Caldwell before just dug a right hand to the body. That's his first real effective body punch to Shelburg, and he has a good body attack. So perhaps he decided he'll go to the body to try and slow Shelburg up.
Shelburg has not sat on a stool between rounds, and there's no question that he has been frustrated by Caldwell.